Good evening. Good evening, gladiators in suits. Happy Thursday. Wet Thursday, I should say. I was walking my dog a while ago and the rain just poured. Had to carry him like this just so he wouldn't be wet the entire time in his belly. That wasn't a good thing, by the way. So, good evening, Joash from TikTok. First to show up. Thank you for joining us. Shout out from Catanduanes. Thank you for joining. We're going to have a very positive topic for tonight. It's a very, and I'm saying this because I think some people are saying that, Jonathan, some of your topics are too negative. It's always about conflict, etc. Okay, we're going to be responsive to that comment. And so we're going to talk about something that is very close to my heart. We're going to talk about green flags that you are working for an amazing company. So we'd like to talk about, when do you say that this company is the one? Or even if it's not the one, when can you say that this is a company that is worth promoting, worth inviting? Let's say you have a friend, they're looking for a new job. Would you be brave enough to recommend your current company and say, yes, it's an amazing company, I would vouch for it. Hindi ako mapapahiya if I will recommend this company for you, for example. Okay? So we're going to talk about those things. Hakub says, shout out from Bicol. Jason says hello from Iloilo. Fatima also says hello. JV says good evening from Antipolo. Marjorie from TikTok is watching from Canada. Please let us know which part. Beltran, is that a surname? Beltran also says hello, watching from Kuala Lumpur. Thank you for joining us. So as usual, the rules of our discussion is simple. You don't need to stick to the topic, although I prefer that you do. You can still ask questions if it's about quitting your job, managing your boss, job hunting, job interviews, and all these things. Okay? We're gonna tackle all these questions. So I'm seeing some participants now going online. Thank you. If you just jumped into the session, could you please give us a like or give us a heart? We will appreciate that. That will help us improve our algorithm. And by the way, halfway through the session, we are going to give away tickets to our upcoming workshop. That's going to happen on July 28 and 29 at the SMX Convention Center. We're going to be giving away tickets to our on-site 3-hour workshops on public speaking, business writing, leadership, and also social media marketing. All you need to do is to answer my trivia question. We'll do that at the middle part. But here's the catch. You should be able to share this live stream on your page. Okay? You have to share this live stream on your page. That's the one thing we're going to request from you, which means if we do not see you sharing this live stream, and usually there is a label beside your name that says shared. If we do not see that, you will not be eligible to join our session. Okay? Belieza says hello from Rizal. Gerald says hello from South Korea. Nitch says good evening from Cebu. Thank you for joining our session for tonight. Okay, team, yesterday I said that I'm going to be gunning for 20 questions in 1 hour. So that didn't do well. I think 15 is a good amount of questions instead. So for tonight, I'm going to aim for something realistic. I'm going to aim for 15 questions answered. That will help me be able to limit and be more concise with my response. I'm going to challenge myself to be more short and succinct with my responses. Okay? Okay, let's do this as question number 1 from LinkedIn user. Name is not shared, unfortunately, but the question is this. I am currently working a wellness program for employees. Our management is very supportive. What best practice should you encourage employees to participate in our wellness programs? Number 1, you have to explain to them why are you doing it in the first place. Granted that it may be, it's a given in life that you have to promote wellness programs. Tell them that this is something that the company is doing because it wants to invest in people's engagement. You have to be explicit about that. That's the first one. Number 2, I I think one of the most important things to do is to avoid doing it one time. Meaning, you're doing it in an August or September, and then afterwards it just fades away. You don't repeat it again. It doesn't happen annually. It will come off as if you're doing it because you want to have a program and not because you really want people to join it. And when people see it through that lens, people don't find it authentic and people think that you're only doing it because HR needs a program. I feel that way every time my HR does it that way also. So it must be something that you can repeat many times. You can replicate it every month, every quarter, something that you know people will join because it's not based on compliance. I'll give an example. We do a lot of mental wellness webinars, but I hate it when employees feel compelled that they have to join a mental wellness webinar. You want your people to join it because they want to be part of it, not because there's an attendance check, because there's an assessment test of the webinar afterwards. Can I get an exclamation mark? Have you guys seen those things? We have lots of clients like this, and we often tell them for a mental wellness webinar, while it is ideal to have an assessment or a post webinar check, it doesn't come across as authentic. Take it out. Okay. What I'd rather do is you can have a quiz, but there's a prize. But the quiz is like only 5 or 4 questions, for example. It's going to be more fun. It's going to be more authentic. At the same time, you still have some level of knowledge check from the participants. Okay. Okay, next question. Joms on TikTok is asking, what do you think is the most essential factor that one should consider when looking for a company? Okay, I think this is very much in line with our topic for tonight. Can I just rephrase this question and say, what do you think are the top 3 green flags that you're working for an amazing company? One, I'm going to get this out of the way, compensation, more than anything else. Let's face it, guys, even if you tell me that you're not supposed to talk about money, at the end of the day, we work because we have to put food on the table. Amen. Can I get a letter A? Yes? So I'm not just talking about good salary. I'm also talking about the rewards philosophy. Meaning, you may have a good salary at the start, but the company does not promote. The company does not exercise merit increase. The company does not reward people. The insurance program sucks. These things need to be covered. And if the company is not providing the right appropriation for its employees, then it's not a good company at all. So that's one. Number 2, a culture of learning, a culture of training, a culture of having an open mind that you always have space for improvement. And that is evidenced by how often does the company send its employees to training conferences? How often does the company remind its leaders that they should not only be instructing, but they should also be mentoring and coaching? Meaning, are there structures in place? Are managers and leaders required that X number of times per month or X number of times per quarter, they have to dedicate time to mentor and coach their people? That for me is one of the best markers of an amazing company. At the end of the day, a company will only sustain its future if it keeps on learning, if it keeps on evolving, if it keeps on finding ways on how to become better than it was before. So that's number 2. Number 3, I was thinking about this when I was riding way back home a while ago. What are the top 3 green flags? Because I knew this was going to be the topic for tonight. Okay. Number 3 for me, and this might not sit well for everyone because not everyone has the resources to do this. I think it's a green flag that you're working for an amazing company if it embraces technology across its processes. It is not afraid to invest money. It is not afraid to explore and sometimes risk using new technology if it knows that it will make things faster, better, and cheaper as well. It's a red flag for me if the company refuses to use a new type of technology because its excuse is that, well, We don't want to evolve because we're already okay with the existing technology. We're okay with this software. If it's not broken, there's nothing to be fixed. But you have to be constantly evolving. You're only as good as your last sales. You're only as good as your last invoice. If you don't have a culture of being open to embracing technology as in your ally, I think you're going to be at risk of being obsolete at some point. Okay, so those three things. That was question number 2, by the way. Okay, 𝗪cie𝗵𝗴𝗀, question number 4. Is it okay to ask for a 20% salary raise after a 3-month probation? First and foremost, why are you asking for a salary raise after a probation? Because usually the probation is already lesser amount of salary. But number 2, probation does not usually happen on 3 months. For most organizations, it happens after the 6th month. And that's because 3 months may not be enough to identify if this employee is worth being regularized. But let's assume that you really were regularized after 3 months. I don't think you should be asking a salary raise. What was offered to you in your company, in your job offer sheet, is already likely your salary for the X number of months or years until you get promoted. If you're telling me that your salary was not good enough and therefore it needs to be raised, you should have negotiated that at the very start when you're still being interviewed and you were still being recruited. Okay? Okay, question number 4. Is this number 4, right? Gilbert Pedros. Can I get a number 4 in the chat box if I'm number 4 or number 5? Is it? Al, thank you for the coffee that you've sent in the chat box. I appreciate that, by the way. Is it number 4? Could you please let me know? Number 4, number 5 question. Okay, never mind. Let's make it number 4. Oxy also sent a rose. Thank you again for that gift also. So Gilbert is asking this question. Sir John, what should I do? My 2 big bosses had conflict since 4 years ago. Now, as a supervisor, I've been affected by their conflict and I've been stressed about it until one day, one of my boss talked to me. Until this morning, one of the bosses talked to me. Is it okay that I tell him that I feel threatened? I feel threatened about their conflict, and I'm asked, is it okay to ask them to not include me in their conflict anymore? Uh, First, Gilbert, can I ask, are you the only one who's being affected by this? Is it the entire team who's being affected by this? Because if you're going to be summoning your bosses, I think there is strength in numbers. The better way to get the attention of the bosses so that they can appreciate that the entire team is starting to get affected is to gather all your other teammates, request for a meeting with those 2 bosses, and share that all of you are on the same boat, that all of you are being affected. There's going to be strength in that rather than only one person saying it. And usually they can easily brush you aside. And by the way, if it's a lot of people already raising it as an issue, there's going to be an easier chance for your managers to be pressured that they have to stop their conflict. Okay? I hope that answers your question. Question number 5. By the way, let me add this. M on TikTok is adding to the question of Gilbert. M said, is the issue personal or business? If it's personal, then they should keep it within themselves. I agree also. Likely issues like this are personal issues. It could be because someone said something or someone promised something, but they didn't get it. But bosses are bosses. Sometimes they will drag you to their conflict. Okay? So I will recommend, Gilbert, gather the entire team. Okay? If you think that this is already dragging an entire department, I will recommend to include HR on this, especially if you think that this needs disciplinary actions from both 2 bosses. Again, easier said than done. I definitely admit that, but you have to try it out versus being silent and be dragged on with your conflict the entire time. Okay, question number 6. People are telling me this is question number 4, number 5. Okay, let's make. This is question number 6. 𝗬𝗵𝗴𝗀𝗶 from Facebook is asking this question. Sir, I have received an offer from another company that is 50% higher than my current salary. That's relatively high, AJ. I don't want to leave because we have an amazing, great culture here, but the offer is tempting. What would you do if you were in my situation? AJ, there is no right or wrong, whether you stay or you don't. The question now lies on what are your priorities? Are you after amazing experience in the company, happiness, lack of stress, absence of stress? Or number two, are you after a higher salary such that even if it might stress you out because you're still young and you still have an appetite for risk, that's totally okay with you? If I was young, like in my 20s, I will take on new challenges because I think I can manage stress. Number two, I'm still building my own nest. I don't yet have a lot of money when I'm young. And so if it's 50% higher for your salary, I would take it. If it doesn't work out, that's fine. At least you tried it. You probably may have learned something from it. And then I move on with other organizations. I will say that if you happen to be young. But if you happen to be relatively seasoned, okay, see what I did there? I'm not calling you old. I'm calling you seasoned, by the way. Let's say you're in your 40s or in your 50s. It can be a big gamble or risk. You probably don't need that specific huge jump in your salary. I would rather prioritize happiness in the company of my friends, of my colleagues. So it depends on what you're after. Okay? Question number 7. Okay. This is from 𝗬𝗵𝘂'𝗿𝗄. John, good evening. My boss is always irritated and annoyed during our meetings if he asks me questions that I cannot answer since I'm still 2 months in the company, and he does not want me to ask the previous accountant because he is afraid to build the company and we have limited resources. Oh, I feel so bad, and does not want additional expenses. Now I am stressed out and has anxiety. I need the work on the other hand. Okay, CB, you already know my answer here. I always recommend a heart-to-heart conversation with your boss. And when I say that, I will tell my boss with all out honesty, boss, I want to please you. I want to contribute in the organization. I want to have a good relationship with you. Unfortunately, 2 months is not enough for me to be able to learn everything in one blow. I still need more time. I need more mentorship. And because I understand that we are saving money so that I don't need to ask the accountant, then I'm going to be asking for more patience from you. Otherwise, I hope you spend more time coaching or mentoring me because boss, hindi po talaga kaya. Okay? Now, CB, this is under the assumption that you really need that amount of time. I'm going to flip the coin. Perhaps, and you will not like what I will say here, perhaps maybe the competency level that you were promising during the job interview is different to what you are performing right now, such that the reason perhaps why your manager is not as happy with your work is because he doesn't think that you're stepping up to the plate. So I'm going to insert that also into the equation. Huh? Okay? But CB, there's no other way, there's no other route. It's either you step up to the plate, you do better and faster, or number two, if you really need more time and if you really need more mentoring, you have to talk to your boss that 2 months is not enough for you to be the best person to get the job done. Okay? Ooh, I like this question. Question number 8 from Reynard Sanarte. What are some green flags early on in a new job that will let you know that you are in a good place? You know what my answer here will be? In your first 2 weeks, if people volunteer to help you out, help you on a PowerPoint slide, help you where the canteen is, help you how to talk to this person, and they all are consistent in helping you out without being told, there is a culture of teamwork in this organization. And that is a green flag. Can I get an exclamation mark if you guys agree? Yes? Yes, that for me is a green flag. And likely, this will be manifested on your first 2 weeks, first 3 weeks. Why? These are the most critical weeks when you need help. Okay? I'm going to flip it the coin. What's the opposite? If people do not care about you, they know that you are new, they know that you need help, and they have abandoned you, and their mindset is, manigas ka dyan. When I was in your position a few years ago, I also had to do things on my own. So to be fair, I will not help you because I want you to feel the same pain. If that is the mindset of people in the company, that for me is a red flag. May not be all the time. It could just be one rotten apple or two rotten apples. But if this is consistent across different departments, opposite of it, that's a red flag. Okay. Okay. Question number 9. Let's answer this from Joash. I like this question. Thank you. I was waiting for someone to raise this question. Joash de la Cruz is asking this. How about during your job interview? How can you determine if the company is right for you? What are those green flags? Number 1, if the recruiter came on time. If the job interview happened as it was promised. Granted, some job interviews get delayed, but they will explain to you why, and they will not delay it multiple times. That's a green flag. This is likely a company that knows how to respect time, even if you're not an employee yet. Okay, that's 1. Number 2, I think it's a green flag if they are very open to answering your own questions. And they will insist at the end of the meeting, do you have any questions for me? Why? Most companies will not make you ask questions if they think that they are the powerful party in the negotiation. That means their mindset is, I get to dictate everything. I get to say what you get as your salary. I get to decide what your schedule is because you're desperate for a job. If they have that kind of mindset, I will not work for this company. But if they're willing and they're open to answer your questions, even, controversial or awkward questions such as, how's the culture in the company? Or, you know what my favorite question is? If I'm the one being interviewed by a recruiter, my question to the recruiter is, can I ask you personally, as a recruiter, what do you think are the amazing things in this company? If the recruiter is able to answer that in the next 20 or 15 seconds, immediately, then that means he has top of mind answers, that these are good things about the company. If the recruiter or the hiring manager who's interviewing you takes a lot of seconds or a minute to answer that question, alam na. That for me is a red flag, because if they can pull out immediately top of mind answers and it's taking them a lot of time to answer it, it means that they don't know what the answer is. And that means this is a company that they are working for because they're stuck in it, because they're probably getting paid well for it, but it doesn't mean that they like it. Okay. Third green flag. Again, I'm going to make a disclaimer here. While I am a believer that the recruiter is a reflection and they are the ambassadors of the culture of the company, there will be certain exemptions to the rule. For example, it is possible, although it is very rare, that you may have the best and most amazing recruiter who just happens to be good in their job, but when you enter the company sucks. Possible? Yes. Probable? No. Usually, the recruiter is a reflection of how good or bad a company is. Can I get an exclamation mark, by the way, if you guys agree? Yes? They likely are. If you have a good recruitment team, the company is likely good as well. Because they're from HR. HR gets to dictate a big part of the culture. The HR is usually a reflection, and they usually feel the first cuts of budget are usually felt by HR. So if the company is scrimping on money, you will feel it by how HR talks to you. And you will feel it by how HR negotiates your salary and compensations as well. Okay? To answer that question, sorry, last na lang pala. The green flag, therefore, third, during a job interview, would be, if they talk about anything to do with leadership. Okay? What do I mean? Like, for example, I appreciate companies that after the recruiter's interview, the next level interview is your immediate boss, your potential immediate supervisor. Why is that important? Because it means that the company values that the manager must be able to align their compatibility with their candidates. Because you guys might be surprised about this. Some companies, after HR gets to interview the candidate, it's all done. The hiring manager or the supervisor who will end up becoming the boss of the employee sometimes do not get a say. And I pity that. That should not be the case. Sometimes it's just the owner or the boss, the owner of the small business who interviews, but the manager who the person will report to does not get to interview. I think it's a red flag. You should be able to allow the person who will likely be working with this person for the longest time an opportunity to check out if they like working with this person. Okay? Is it a total red flag? Not all the time. If you get to skip some people in the interview, that's fine. But I will appreciate if my job interview includes the people who are going to work with me. Okay? All good? Okay. I'm so laughing because people on TikTok are saying, oh no, it was only HR who interviewed me. Okay? I'm going to flip the coin again, by the way. Why is it so important that you should also be interviewed by your potential manager? Because if you will end up working with this person, following the instructions of this person 5 days a week, you also want to know if you want to work with this person. You don't want to get surprised that suddenly your boss is going to be Miranda Priestley. Can I get a letter A as in amen? Which is why after the HR interviewer finishes the interview, I will always ask the question, can I request if I can also be interviewed? Can I get a chat with my potential manager? And it's not because I want to be tested only. I'm also the one who's testing the company. Can I just call this out, by the way? Gladiators in suits. Please remember, you're not here begging for a job. You're not only the one who's auditioning. The company is also auditioning to be part of your life. It's a two-way street. I want to highlight that, huh? I think a lot of people think that I am being tested in a job interview. Do not have that mindset. It's a two-way street. You're being tested, but you're also testing this company. You're finding out if this company is aligned with your values. You're checking out if this potential boss is a boss that you're going to get along with. And if you notice that in the job interview alone, this potential boss does not look at you in the eye, does not use the right set of words, the words are very arrogant, it's a red flag. Why am I going to be working for this boss? I'm not yet even an employee, and I feel like I'm being treated like an insect waiting to be crushed. I'm not going to work for that boss. And that's why you should request that you should be interviewed by your potential boss as well. Okay? Okay, that's question number 10. Can I get a letter P? Because we're halfway now through our discussion. Can I get a letter P if we can give away some prizes now to our participants? As usual, halfway through our talk, we always give away tickets to our upcoming workshops at the SMX Convention Center in Fort BGC in SM Aura, happening on July 28 and July 29. We're going to give away 4 tickets to all our 4 workshops: leadership workshop, social media marketing, boost your confidence, and also email etiquette and business writing. And you get to bring a +1. 5 tickets will be given away to TikTok folks because we love folks on TikTok. And then we're going to give away 2 tickets on Facebook, 2 tickets on LinkedIn, and 2 tickets as well on YouTube. I hope that's cool with everyone. Can I just remind everyone as well, could you please give us a like or a heart if you haven't yet before we start our contest? And I also want to remind you, for you to be eligible to join this competition, you must be able to share this on your Facebook feed, on your TikTok feed. You must be able to share this on your LinkedIn feed, etc. If you have not yet shared it, please do, because we will not call out your name even if you've given us the correct answer. So please share this live stream on your page now. I'm going to give you a few seconds for that while we get to decide what is the topic for tonight. Sorry, the question, the trivia question for tonight. Sige nga, can I just challenge you, gladiators in suits? What do you think is a good trivia category? Yesterday, our topic was about sports. Monday, our topic was about, I forgot what was it. Was it about food or geography? No, geography was our trivia topic last Monday. So, may I request, what do you think should be our topic for tonight? Category for our trivia. Can I do animals? Can I get the letter A? Is animals okay? Pwede ba? We just attended a media launch. Can I just, sorry, can I just get this? Because this is really amazing. Just wait, huh? So, this afternoon, we attended a media launch from Royal Canin. By the way, that's how you pronounce it pala. It's Royal Canin because it's French. So this is amazing because their tagline is incredible in every detail. And that's because they get to customize every product to certain breeds. So my dog Tanjiro is half Dachshund and half German Shepherd. I'm also going to be anal about this. It's not Dachshund, huh? It's not, you don't pronounce it as Dachshund. I've been told. You pronounce it as the way Germans pronounce it, which is Dachshund. Because Dachshund refers to a hound or someone who hunts badgers. So Dachshund pala yun. But anyway, I'm just amazed because this one is specifically for Dachshunds. Galing, di ba? And they have a specific one for German Shepherd. They have a specific one for... So it's just amazing. We'll be posting about our media launch later on. But we attended it this afternoon and they talked about everything about how their technology is so specific to different breeds and how breeds have different needs as well. Okay, so my question now is about animals. People are saying, yung pala ang pronunciation ng Royal Canin o Royal Canin. Kasi di ba nga lahat ng letter IN, all the INs in French is usually the I is pronounced as Okay. Okay, so animals. My question is this. You guys are ready? So it's a question about animals. Ready na ba? Yes. Give me an... Please station your fingers on the keyboard. Ready na? Okay, sige. So this is an animal question, but it's also somehow a history question. Okay? So the Philippine eagle, in the past, gosh, I'm not even sure if some people who are too young are aware of this. The Philippine eagle in the past was actually embedded in the Philippine currency. Could you please tell me what that bill or coin is when it was first included? Okay? Oh, magkakaalaman na ng mga edad for this. Tell me, where was it placed? Okay, this is the Philippine eagle. Okay, you guys are so fast. I think I already have a lot of correct answers here. Let me call out first the winners on, on TikTok ha, kasi ang dami may TikTok answers na. The correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, is that it is found in the old version of 50 centavos. Okay? 50 centavos. O sige, I'm gonna be forgiving ha. 50 cents is okay, but technically we do not use cents. That is for dollars. We use centavos. Diba? But 50 cents is also fine. Okay? So, my winners, ladies and gentlemen, and if you happen to be the winner, please send us a private message so we can send to you our instructions on how you can claim your prize. So, the first winner on TikTok is IANEV. Ianev. Congratulations. First winner. Second winner is Riri na may emoji ng cat. Congratulations. The third winner is 𝗬𝗎𝗄𝗆. Congratulations. The fourth winner is Jeannie, Geeni. And the fifth winner on TikTok is, the name is Ha. Limang ha. Congratulations. Folks on TikTok, congratulations. Please send us a private message so we can send to you instructions on how to claim your prize for our workshop. Do not forget, this is July 28 to 29, and you get to attend all 4 workshops, and you get to bring a +1. one. Now, let me call out the winners on Facebook. My first winner is 𝗬𝗴𝗀𝗃. Congratulations. My second winner is 𝗬𝗵𝘂'𝗵𝗀. Congratulations. That's for Facebook. Now, for sabi ni Camille, 20 pesos. Grabe naman. Siguro, Gen Z to, no? Hindi mo naabutan. Hindi ka pa siguro pinapanganak during this time. My third winner, let's look for some winners on, there you go. YouTube winner is 𝗔𝗺𝗵𝗴𝗀. Congratulations. And then also, next winner is Amiel Gonzalez, also on YouTube, 50 cents. Congratulations. And then finally, unfortunately, guys, I don't think I have a winner on LinkedIn. You guys are not giving me the correct answers. Ito pala. Okay. No, wala talaga eh. Walang winner on LinkedIn. Ayan, okay. I have one now. The winner on LinkedIn is Ann Cordero. Congratulations. And at least other people are typing, I do not know the correct answer though. Because I don't have another winner on LinkedIn, let me just choose the first person who answered this on Facebook. The next one is... Okay. The next one is 𝗬𝗵𝘁 Vergara. Congratulations. Okay. Correct answer is the 50 centavo coin. Okay. May I request for an exclamation mark from our participants? Let's congratulate our winners. Again, all the winners, if your name was called, please send us a private message so we can give you instructions on how to claim your prize. Okay? Now, let's continue our discussion. If you happen to have a question that I wasn't able to read a while ago, could you please cut and paste them again? Because obviously they've been buried after all the so many responses of other participants. Okay. Marielle is watching from Cebu. Thank you for joining us. James Fong says hello from Malaysia. Thank you for joining us. 𝗙𝗵𝗂𝗶𝗃 is also watching from Davao City. Congratulations. Dolly, by the way. Dolly naman says, Holly. Holly says, Mr. John, I finally am able to catch you online. Oh, congratulations. At least you don't get to watch this anymore as recorded. People are asking, is the session recorded? Yes, you can always catch this on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube. They're always going to be in the archives in the live. Unfortunately, on TikTok, we do not get to save the live sessions. If mabitin kayo, by the way, if it's your first time to join us, you can still catch us on our podcast. We have a podcast on Spotify. It's called From Grit to Great. We're now on season 2, and we talk about career management, success, leadership, etc. Okay, let's answer now question number 11 from Joe Dane. And the question of Joe Dane is, in my current job, the account I am working on is experiencing instability as confirmed by one of our leaders. On the positive side, they continue to motivate us to perform our best and provide additional rewards. Grabe, Joe Dane, napaka-complete ng sentences mo, which I admire, by the way. However, the negative aspect is the frequent redeployment of employees. Considering the circumstances, should I perceive this as a positive sign to continue with the company, or should I start seeking opportunities elsewhere? Okay. My mantra in any organization is the moment you detect that there is instability, whether I would assume, Joe, that you're coming from a BPO or from a company that services clients, because you're talking about accounts. Okay. The moment you sense instability, it doesn't hurt that you start to become active already on LinkedIn. It doesn't hurt that if you can spare time, since a lot of us can do interviews on Zoom anyway, to do those interviews. If your job remains to be intact, then fine. You don't need to say yes to those job interviews, and you can also decline if someone gives you an offer, right? But as long as your foot is already halfway through the door, then it will give you an easier transition if in case, because you will never really know it. As much as you tell me that your company is so good in motivating you, through a snap of a finger, if an account is let go or account decides not to renew, you can be significantly affected by it, which can include your employment. So it doesn't hurt. And can I just change mindsets of people here? And this is me uh, arguing. This is me proposing to you. Even if you're not actively looking for a job, I think it's healthy to once in a while check out what's happening outside your company and outside your industry. Can I get an exclamation mark if you guys agree? Can I get the letter A as in amen if you agree? It's healthy. What do I mean? From time to time, it doesn't hurt. Check LinkedIn. Look at other positions. Type the positions label that you have in your current company, put it on LinkedIn, and check other companies who are also offering the same thing. Type the position name of the next level position that you are aspiring for, because that can be your future position. Type it on LinkedIn, type it on Google search, and check out what's happening. What are the offers? What are the companies that are currently looking for these positions? Submit your resume. It doesn't hurt. Finish an interview. It doesn't hurt. It will also give you a good idea of what are the new things that employers are looking for, and if your salary is still as competitive as what companies are offering. If you're okay to spend 30 minutes of your life to do a job interview, even if you're not really looking for it desperately, I think that's a healthy thing to do. Okay? Because you'll never know. There will always be someone who will tell you there's a better place to be. There are greener pastures to consider. And sometimes it's not good that even if you're so happy with one company, and don't get me wrong, it's totally okay to stick with one company for the rest of your career. But if you're the type of person who will think maybe there's something better out there, then don't box yourself in to only one organization. Always be on the lookout as well. Okay? Thank you. Bambi Gonzalez says, you're not going to lose anything. Yeah, I agree. You can lose time, right? You can lose some amount of time. You can also lose some amount of engagement, because sometimes, when when you get interviewed, you will realize, gosh, my company is underpaying me. My company is not giving me the right benefits. Sometimes you will realize that. But that's a good thing, because you know your true worth and your true value. Okay? Ooh, 1988 on TikTok. Question number 12 is asking this. I always end up with a company that closes for good. Any tips for getting a stable company? It doesn't hurt to check the financials of a company on the internet. Okay? We're very lucky because, and I'm going to call out a lot of Generation Z. Can I get the letter Z in the chat box if we have folks who are under 26 years old or 25 years old? Can I get that? Can I get letter Z? Can I just call out? You guys are so lucky because you have an opportunity to check company on the internet. When I was in college, even if there was already the internet, the information was not as rich as it is today. We don't have a concept of LinkedIn. We did have Job Street, but there was no concept of discussing companies' pros and cons. We did not have, how do you call this? We didn't have a concept of reviews and ratings. We didn't have Glassdoor. Can I get a letter G as in Glassdoor? If you guys agree that this is such an amazing website. Glassdoor.com is a website that is like a trip advisor for all companies. They get to rate and rank companies according to stars. They get to have anonymous feedback about the culture in the company, etc. You guys have these things now. So if you end up, so there are two things for this question. There are two things why you end up with companies that close down. Number one, you may not like what my answer is, but probably you're just really unlucky if it's been happening 2 or 3 times. It's just a matter of luck. That's one. Or number two, maybe you're not properly researching and that you easily jump onto any warm body that offers you a job. And sometimes you have to be picky as well. And that includes checking out on the internet, asking out a lot of friends, asking a friend of a friend of a friend, sometimes asking the friend of a boss, of a colleague's friend who knows something about this industry. Okay? It doesn't hurt again to ask. And asking is like a raffle. The more raffle entries you put out there, the higher chances of winning because you get to collect and select information to make your decision more robust. Okay. Okay, question number 13 from Maureen. What is your take? I like this question, by the way. What is your take on a sink or swim type of learning in an organization? Is it a beige flag? Okay. Bago na nga pala yung beige flag ngayon, no? It's neither green or red. It's more of a neutral, for example, for a beige flag, or it's a boring, how do you call it, incidents. So here's my take. I think that the threshold for learning is going to be subjective per company. For example, if the company has an amazing set of employees, meaning they finished from the top tier universities, they are able to pirate from the best organizations around the world. Usually, the learning can be a sink or swim style. Why? They don't need to teach each other so much because everyone is a self learner and everyone is also a fast learner. Is that a bad thing? It's a bad thing if you happen to be new in the company and you're not as good as the average. It could be a good thing for those that might be in the same league. If I were to ask, though, generally speaking, this might not sit well for other employees who came from a different mold or who come from a different personality. Ideally, you still want an organization wherein no matter how amazing the employees are, the HR and the leadership team remains to be supportive. They're obsessed about asking questions such as, what else do you need? How can I make it easier for you? There still is a coaching and mentoring culture. Even if they're not your direct reports and even if you do not report to them, people help out each other. I will say that it's not a red flag. I will say it's not a beige flag. I will say that it will depend on your personality and it will depend on your threshold on how fast and how good you're able to learn. Okay. This goes without saying, just to read the comment of Jerick on TikTok. And he says, what about workplaces that expect great results without training their employees that they rely on? Same thing also. Red flag. If there is absence of culture of training, coaching, mentoring, I'll give an example. Maybe this is not the best example, but I'm going to use the example of university. There are universities out there that the moment you enter the school and the campus on your first day, you have a brochure, you have a map of the campus, you have all these things that tell you here is where you go, here is where you ask for information. Can I get an exclamation mark if you can relate to that? Yes. So down to the point that they make you feel that whatever you were paying for your tuition fee, it was worth it because you are really guided along the way. My university was not like this, right? In my university, and again, things might have changed. So I finished economics in Diliman. My university never had this. We don't have this concept of there's a brochure, there's a map. You just literally ask. You literally ask sophomores and seniors and juniors where to go and ask for tips. It would be amazing if you have a friend or a sibling who can reach out. But in my case, I didn't know anyone else. I was the first in my family to enter that school, everything. And it's really true. Sometimes there will be certain bullies who will point you to the wrong building. In our campus, you have to ride jeepneys from one building to another. You can walk, but it can take you 15 to 20 minutes to do that. So here's an example wherein, is that ideal? No. Did I learn a lot from it? Yes, however. I learned how to be brave to ask questions. I learned how to do things on my own without expecting people to do it for me. I learned how to be more independent. Is it possible to learn these things without undergoing these things? Yes, but in my situation, because I was alone, I don't think that there was any other available training that I could have gotten if it weren't for that. So I hope you appreciate what I'm trying to say here. To each his own. In this case, it's a threshold of how is your appetite when it comes to being thrown into the waters and let you swim on your own, and no one's gonna teach you how to swim, but you will eventually know how to swim. But your boss is gonna be there if in case you get if in case you drown. Okay? So that's how it is an appetite. It is a, and usually the HR gets to decide which recruits are likely going to survive if they already know that this is the culture inside the company, and should they let this person pass the test, for example. Okay, question number 13. Dicky Best is asking on TikTok, is it a green flag that the management says that you're great in your job, yet there is no job offer or increase? Any company that recognizes that you are doing amazing and doing good, I think is a green flag because they recognize hard work of people. However, it must not stop with verbal gestures. It must not stop with amazing, wow, superb, good job. It must be done also through actions. So if you have been consistently doing this for many, many months and many, many years, it has to come to a point wherein promotion should come into the picture. Merit increase should come into the picture. If the company just keeps on stopping into verbal gestures, that's a red flag because that means the only thing that they're willing to offer to their people is laway, right? Is saliva. Talk is cheap, but most people will show their true colors using their own actions. You also want to recognize these people financially, right? In this case. Okay, question number 14. By the way, can I get an exclamation mark? Am I improving in answering questions in terms of speed? Can I get some feedback from you guys? Because my goal is not to spend too much time on one question. My goal is like in 2 to 3 minutes, back, I'm able to answer it. Just so we can collect more answers, right? Okay. Yes? Okay. Thank you for the exclamation mark. And since you're typing exclamation mark, could you please give us a like or a heart if you haven't given that to us yet? That's the only thing we request from our participants if you're learning something. Okay, so here's one more question from Joash. I have experienced a few years ago applying to a certain company as an HR, and during the hiring process, I was accompanied by an employee directly to the president without meeting the HR. And after the interview, it has come to my attention that they don't like the current HR. That's why they don't recognize her, as if she's not existing. That's why you were not interviewed by HR, because apparently you are going to replace HR. And it's a big red flag for me. I felt pity for her. I might experience her situation in the future. So I declined the offer. Okay. Joash, I understand. It could be a red flag because it means that the company does not know how to manage their own conflicts with each other. However, I'm going to give you a devil's advocate response here. What if the company has already done all of the possible means to get rid or to resolve or to change the ways of this HR, but this HR perhaps may be senior enough that even the CEO perhaps could be afraid of them? And so the only way is to hire someone new. So maybe it's for the better, it's for the good. I mean, again, I don't know the details about this, but look at it from that perspective. It could be a good thing as well. Okay, question number 15. O, di ba? I'm able to reach my ano. I think we can answer two more questions. Gio from TikTok is asking, are passive bosses a red flag? Thank you, Al, for sending coffee again. Maraming salamat po. Are passive bosses a red flag? Okay. Before I answer this question, I wish that you were able to specify what do you mean by passive. So let me define, just so we can have an aligned answer here. A passive boss for me is they only do things when they are told, also by their own bosses. Number two, they will never ask how you are doing in the company until something wrong happens. Meaning, if it's not broken, they will not be proactive enough to do more, to spend more, and to achieve more. A passive boss is already happy with meeting targets or barely meeting targets, but they don't have the enthusiasm to go beyond what's expected from them. That is my definition of a passive boss. So their communication is not proactive. They don't have a concept of self initiative, and they don't have a concept of being competitive because it's what's best for the organization. Is it a good thing? I don't think so. I think you want to be under the tutelage of a boss who will always do the extra mile. And that includes, okay, John already knows how to do VLOOKUP. What else do I need to teach him? so that when the situation happens, he's prepared for it. That's the kind of active boss that I want. Okay? Is it a red flag for your career? Somehow, but not necessarily. Why? Because I think having passive bosses can have a silver lining to it. What do I mean? Sometimes having a passive boss is an opportunity for you to be noticed and to step up to the plate and eventually be recognized as a leader because you're the one who's doing things that your boss isn't doing. Can I get an exclamation mark if you guys agree? And I've seen this many times, right? The employee takes the burden of everything. And I think this was our topic last Monday, di ba? The employee took the burden of everything, but management notices, this guy, without being told, is even doing better than his boss. I think we should give him a leadership role and we can place him in a different department instead. So it's not all bad. Of course, it's easier said than done. It can only happen to certain people if they are in the right time and in the right place. But it doesn't mean it has to be a red flag. It can be a silver lining as well. Okay? AZ, thank you for the rose, by the way. Claude9 is asking, how do you deal with an employee who cries when you tell them that they have room for improvement? Basics first. Number one, it's always going to be based on how you say it, not just your choice of words. If it's going to be said in a manner that is provoking, hurting, and likely said in public, okay? If it's something that you think is sensitive to the person, you don't need to call out the person's attention in public to the point that they will get embarrassed. My favorite mantra in life is to recognize people in public but apprehend them in private. Okay, as much as you can. That's one. Number two, my favorite technique in leadership when it comes to giving feedback is called the sandwich technique. The sandwich technique is when you give something positive and then you give the negative and then you also end up with a positive. The cousin of that is what we call as the pizza technique. You don't have two positive, you only have one positive. One positive, one negative. Why is this effective for certain people? It's effective for emotionally immature or yet to mature employees because you're telling them, hey, I think you need to improve on something, but please don't believe or please don't understand that this is just about you being bad. There are also good things about you that I appreciate, and these are the things that I like you to keep on doing. However, it's not good enough that you're excellent in A. We also have to do something about letter B. So the sandwich technique works because you want to remind people that there are highlights, positive highlights about what you have been accomplishing. It usually, first and foremost, it usually happens when your employees are younger. The younger they are, the more that they lack that corporate maturity to take on feedback as something that they can improve on. Okay. One more thing, by the way, one of the most effective ways to give feedback is to lay out your intentions for saying it. So I would say something like, Anna, I'm saying this not because I'm the kontrabida. I'm saying this not because I'm the villain in your life. I'm saying this because I want you to know that I care for you. I see so much potential in you. But I want you to know that we need to improve on X, Y, and Z because letter A, B, and C. If our plan, and I am part of that plan, is to promote you in 6 months or 1 year, unfortunately, I don't think HR will approve that promotion if we keep on doing 1, 2, and 3. So I'm here as your ally. I'm here as your support group. I'm here as your coach to help you get there. When you rephrase your constructive feedback this way, the person will appreciate that you're on their same boat, you're on their same team, and their guards go lower as well. Okay? Okay. Mark Castillo's calling out. He loves his wife very much. Okay. Okay. Let's do this. let's do this for fun. And this is going to be my last question for tonight. Okay. Is it okay to omit mentioning my boss in my farewell letter since I never felt empowered? Yeah. I mean, ideally, you should be telling this to your boss directly so that they have an idea so that they can further improve. But I also understand that not everyone requires confrontation. And sometimes confrontation can lead to more mess than more cleanup. Okay? I'm going to highlight that. You heard that from me. I don't want to be that guy that you will always say, Jonathan is in favor of confrontation. Not all the time. I agree that there are certain battles that you should not take. There are certain battles you should be silent with. Can I get an exclamation mark? Are we in agreement with that? Yes? Uh-huh. Because you keep on hearing me saying you have to confront. Not all the time. And here's an example wherein if you think that your boss never wants to change, your boss is just so hard-headed and they're never open to feedback, I don't think you should confront. I don't think you should take on that battle. Perhaps someone else will take that battle for you. And if you have a farewell letter, don't write the thank you. Why say thank you if you don't mean it in the first place? It's not because you are mad about this person. It's because you want to tell the truth. And the truth will give you more peace. And it's something that you will not regret because you omitted it. Okay? Someone's asking, can you please repeat the mess part? Sometimes you don't need to confront a person to resolve something. There are certain conflicts in life that the only way to keep it in balance is to ignore the person or to pretend that the person does not exist and you go on with your life. Okay? Okay? So, gladiators in suits. Can I get the letter L? If there was anything that sparked you tonight, if there was anything that you felt was a chunk of learning or unlearning from your end, I hope I was able to answer some of your questions. And I was able to keep my promise. I gave you 15 questions answered. So slowly but surely in the next few weeks or months, I'll find a way to be able to answer 20 questions instead. That's my goal. And maybe I will be better in answering 30 questions in 1 hour. No, I hope I can do that also. Okay, so we'll catch you guys soon. I'm not going to promise if I can go online tomorrow, but I think during the weekend, I might go online in the morning, if not in the evening. Okay, thank you. Stay safe. If you'd like to hear more of career tips, you can catch us on our podcast and Spotify. From Grit to Great is the podcast. You can also catch copies of our best-selling books, all four of them available in National Bookstore, certified bestseller, all about career management. Translated in Vietnamese at Saigon Bookstore if you're in Vietnam. Available in Magrudi's in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. Available in MPH in Kinokuniya in Singapore and Malaysia as well. Thank you. Available also in Lazada and Shopee, by the way. Thank you. We'll catch you guys soon. Good luck. Stay dry because it's been raining lately. Thank you.